I'm Chris,
And I'm Kylie. And this is Redefining Resilience,
where we explore what it means to build a resilient lifestyle
so you can thrive in any and every situation. All right, we have officially wrapped up the health domain.
Heck yeah.
Which means we are now into the fifth domain of tenacity.
The fifth domain, which is tenacity?
Correct.
Yes.
I'm glad you clarified.
I was worried there were 4 more domains that I didn't know about.
No. I'm so glad our listeners are not confused now. So there's 6 total domains, and we are on number 5 of the 6.
Which is tenacity.
Tenacity. And we have already worked our way through vision, composure,
reasoning, health, and now on tenacity.
Thank you. Perfect.
Boom, shakalaka.
So what is tenacity? I think tenacity, so glad I asked. I think tenacity is what people think of when they think of resilience.
Yeah.
At least I did before I dove deep into this world of resilience.
Yeah. I think I talked about it last time. Tenacity, when I hear that word, I think of the sailor on the boat with hold fast on his knuckles. Just holding strong in the storm.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's the dictionary definition of tenacity?
The quality or fact of being very determined, determination. The quality or fact of continuing to exist, persistence. If it's a noun, it's the quality or fact of being able to grip something firmly.
Oh, hold fast.
Like the sailor, hold fast. Yeah.
Okay. And in relation to our 6 domains of resilience, what tenacity really is your relentless pursuit of your vision.
Despite adversity.
Yeah.
Advancing despite adversity.
Which is our definition of resilience overall. So we have come full circle here.
It's just like Rambo. Full circle.
Okay. What are we going to be talking about in the tenacity domain?
We're going to cover what is motivation, realistic optimism. That'll be a walloper.
Oh, yeah.
One. And then handling failure and setbacks.
My favorite, failure.
Yes. And the difference between failure and setbacks.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. But today we're going to dig into what is motivation.
Fleeting.
Would you like the definition?
Okay.
A complex internal state that drives people and animals to pursue goals and engage in behaviors.
Okay.
The desire to act in a service of a goal.
Yeah. I mean, so the prerequisite for tenacity here is having a vision. Because if your definition of tenacity is pursuing the goal, well, why are we pursuing the goal? We have to have a strong vision and reason why we're going to move forward despite any adversity or challenges we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the aspects of tenacity that's really interesting is it's not a blind acceptance that this is where I have to go. Or you're headed in this direction, and no matter what happens, I'm always going to stick in that direction. It's a understanding that you do have to change in order to reach your vision, and your vision is far off in the future. You might not understand what it looks like to be there, but you're creating this person every step of the way. So it changes grows as you pursue it.
Well, and I've heard so many quotes, and it's one of my favorite concepts because, and we have this on our wall here at the office, have a vision so big that you can't achieve it, but have to become the person who can.
That's what a vision is.
Yeah.
I think if we create visions off of current capabilities, that's a goal. That's not a vision.
That's a good distinction.
Yeah, you can already do it.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because I've talked to a motivation expert before in the past, and it's interesting because the things that we think motivate people, like money or rewards, the carrots or the sticks, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not what motivates people sustainably. What motivates people for the long term is 3 things: play, purpose, and potential.
Mm-hmm.
Play being, do I enjoy it? Most people who golf, at least from what I've seen, aren't great at it. They're not on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, like 99%.
Yeah, they don't get paid for golf, but there's a whole lot of people that really enjoy golf.
Yeah.
And they're motivated to go to the golf course at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning and build their schedule around this hobby that they care so much about because they enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's play. It's fun. And then purpose is us pursuing something that we feel really called to do. A lot of nonprofit leaders have very strong purpose, and that's why they created their nonprofit, is for a specific cause, and they feel very called to fulfill that need for humanity. And then potential is the pursuit of our own growth and development and higher self, right? You're developing your potential. And so I have a friend who said she was having a hard time at work, and I was like, why don't you just quit? And she not great advice. Don't take that advice. But I was like, why do you stay? I asked that question. Probably more so like, why don't you just quit? And she said, well, I'm still learning, so I'm going to stick it out. And that response is a perfect example of her pursuing her potential. And that was what was motivating for her to stay in a position where she was dealing with all this adversity, but she was able to lean on her tenacity to get her through this tough time because she was still developing her potential, or she was working on building up her resume. You see it all the time in the job market.
You explained how you view motivation. I thought that was a really interesting question. What is motivation, and how the hell do you stay motivated?
Yeah.
So I asked Google, and I scoured some websites. There's 8 to 10 items on these. According to Google's AI, the way to stay motivated is 8 steps. And I think these are fascinating.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this will be interesting. Let's pick them apart.
Set goals.
Duh.
Reward yourself.
Okay.
Create a routine.
Yes.
Take breaks.
Yes.
Eliminate distractions.
Absolutely.
Stay positive.
Mm-hmm.
Surround yourself with support.
Yep.
And the last one I thought was really fascinating, that this stays in the top 10 for Google's AI's version of staying motivated.
Eat healthy.
Exercise.
I knew it. It had to have been health.
Yeah. So there's no way to break away from that. Like, your physical health is a large portion of the way you stay motivated.
Well, and if you go back to each one of these, they all fall into one of the 6 domains that we talk about. We haven't gotten to collaboration yet, but surrounding yourself with the right people who motivate you, absolutely.
So I dug a little deeper, and I found a career building website. It's called Coursera.org.
Oh, yeah. They have online courses. I've taken some.
Yeah. So great website. It's got a lot of knowledge, great data from a lot of different people. So it's not like stuck in a corner somewhere.
Sure.
They have 11 steps, which I think they're a little bit more in depth, but I think they're really cool.
Okay. What are those?
We're also going to put a link to the show notes of these on here because I think these are important to remember. First one is put your goal on the calendar. That was really neat. Yeah. Make working towards your goal a habit. Mm-hmm. Plan for imperfection. Mm-hmm. I think that is really cool. Understand that perfection isn't a part of the process. Progress is a part of the process.
Successful people have just failed more times than unsuccessful people.
Well, set small goals to build momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Track your progress. Reward yourself for the little wins and the big wins.
Yeah.
Embrace positive peer pressure. Embrace positive peer pressure.
That's a good one.
That is a fantastic one. practice gratitude. And it says in quotations next to that, in bold print, including yourself. You are allowed to practice gratitude for you being you.
Oh.
That is very cool. Do some mood lifting, which was like sound baths, yoga, physical exercise, listening to positive music.
Yeah.
Change your environment. They talk about going to coffee houses to work.
Yep.
Going on walks, doing walking meetings, not just being on your cell phone. Like, do things in person and remember your why.
Which is vision.
Wow. I thought that was really cool.
So how do you stay motivated? Recently, you fell off the wagon with your workouts. If you want to tell everybody about that.
I don't know if fell off the wagon is the best way to describe that. More like working my fucking job, but, you know.
More like only worked out twice last week.
Oh, what a bitch. No, I just understand that the why right now is different.
Yeah.
So I'm taking 2025 off from competing. I'm going to go back in 26 in the Masters division, which I'm super pumped about. So I'm more worried about staying fluid under the iron, keep moving some iron, but I have no like specific need to race through a strenuous 16-week program, which is really nice because I'm fairly certain I tore some stuff up in my left knee and it needs to repair, and my body's still pretty whooped from this year. So it's a nice break for the system. So I still lift, but I don't lift to the same capacity. I don't need to lift to that capacity right now.
Yeah.
I don't need to weigh 300 pounds. So I'm like in the 250, 260 range, and I feel really good. So,
Aw, just a riddle guy.
yeah. But I stay motivated to lift because I understand that in the future that's going to be a need. And I don't want that, and I don't want to get rid of it. It's still a huge part of my life. It's just not on the front of the stove right now. It's on the back.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Still there, still being hot, still being used.
Yeah.
Just not my main focus.
You reminded me of this cool model James Clear posted about the 4 burners theory, and how basically if our life was a stove, we have 4 burners on the stove, right? You have your family, friends, work, and health. And those are basically the 4 main priorities that exist in just about anybody's life. And when things get really stressful or chaotic, there are ways that you can be more efficient with your burners. And this is something I always think about because I'm very efficiency driven. And I think about how can I combine burners? So I'll give you a perfect example. Every year for my birthday, I've started doing a networking birthday party where I combine my work and my friends' burners together and kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? And I get all my friends together who also sometimes can be networking friends, right?
Yeah.
That I've done business with, or could be referral partners for me, or, you know, we met in a professional acquaintance situation. So I combine the 2 every year. A lot of times during the holidays, you might combine friends and family and have like a holiday party with a bunch of people there, and you might have friends there, you might have family there, it's all together. Or like on Thanksgiving, a lot of people do turkey trots with their family. So they combine health and family together. You can combine health and work together if you take walking meetings instead of sitting at your desk, right? So there are ways to get more efficient with our time so that we can stay motivated and we feel like we're accomplishing more things all at one time.
Yeah.
So you brought that up. It made me think like that is one really good strategy for staying motivated and on task.
Well, and you don't want to stop the health domain altogether. You don't want to just say, fuck it and move on. I can't lift, so therefore throwing everything to the wind, you know, caution to the wind.
Mm-hmm.
My diet has also been regulated as well. Like I eat far less. I eat way more focused. I'm not drinking a gallon of chocolate milk a day. Like I'm not eating half as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Because I don't need it. So with output change, I have to understand that input change has to happen.
Yeah.
So yes, it's on the back burner, but it's not any less motivating.
Right.
I still love to compete. I love the sport. I love the iron, but it's just a different season. So
So when it comes to things that maybe you're less passionate about, because I don't really feel like you have to put a whole lot of effort into staying excited and motivated about the gym.
Yeah.
That one comes very organically for you.
It does.
So let's talk about other things like maybe work priorities that maybe are less exciting to you, but you have to stay motivated and you have to like get things done that you don't necessarily find as fun. How do you stay motivated?
We don't even have to talk about the work. We can talk about like laundry and dishes. Like, who likes doing laundry and dishes? Nobody likes doing laundry and dishes.
I thought you loved doing it.
You know what I do like? My coffee cups that I love in the morning, specific ones. And when they're clean, I don't have to fuck around with trying to find coffee cups for us.
Yeah.
I don't have to mess around with cleaning the French press in the morning because it's cleaned at night. We don't have a sink full of dishes in the morning. Like, we have all those things taken care of. We have clean clothes. We do the things we have to do in order to live a productive life. You have to look at the things around you that are happening, the daily tasks, and understand that they take away from the cool shit you want to do.
Yeah.
So they have to be automated. They have to just be a part of your life, whether or not you like it. That's part of being human and being alive. Clean up after yourself, take care of the shit you don't want to do, and just get it over with.
Well, and you have to realize that things like doing the laundry and doing the dishes, as long as you eat food and as long as you wear clothes, you're always going to have those chores to get through.
And what a useless waste of energy to argue with that.
Well, I want you to talk more about how you came to the conclusion or develop the mindset you developed about getting that kind of stuff done. Because it was really interesting to me when you broke down like how you actually came to terms with doing those tasks.
Well, yeah, because I don't like them. But what do I like?
I thought you loved them.
Well, part of it is...
I would hate to take that away from you.
It's not like I sit on the couch and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's eat another meal so I can do more dishes. No, but I like a clean house. I love a clean house. I love things being put away, and I love patterns. So if I can organize everything in the cabinets or on the counters, I feel at peace, and I can spend my brain power and energy on things I want to spend my brain power and energy on. And I realized the more I argued with it and the more I fought laundry and dishes and the more I told myself how miserable it was, I made the problem 1,000 times worse. So then I started to tell myself, all right, I love doing the dishes. I love doing laundry. Look at how good I can make this shirt look. So when I pull it out of the drawer, it doesn't look like it's been sitting under the front seat of my fucking car all summer, all wadded up and nasty looking. It looks clean and pristine, and it stacks well. And then my drawers look fucking great and organized. It takes all of this pressure off of me for 15 seconds worth of effort.
Well, and you actually timed yourself doing these tasks.
That was the kicker.
Yeah.
Was timing myself.
That was what I wanted you to tell us.
I looked at how hard, quote unquote, hard these things were. And I said, well, I have 24 hours in a day. I spend X amount of time at work, X amount of time in the gym, doing all these things. How long does it actually take me? And that whole timing myself process started with meal prep because I wanted to gain weight, but I kept telling myself I didn't have enough time. So I knew
that's like the biggest lie we tell ourselves.
That we don't have enough time.
Yes.
We have an absorbent amount of time.
Yeah.
Like 24 hours is a long time. So not only that, we're not even awake 24 hours. We're only awake like, 12 of them?
Yeah.
Sleep or laying around the other ones. And you should get 8 to 10 hours of sleep. So that's like totally normal. It only leaves 14 hours if you get 10 hours of sleep. So
who gets 10 hours of sleep?
I'm just saying, like, if you did, you're not like left up, on shit creek. Like, you have plenty of time.
Yeah.
So if we break it down like I did, I knew I needed to eat 12 eggs, and I knew I needed to eat at least a pound of meat, and I knew I needed to eat a box of mac and cheese. Caloric wise, it's not the healthiest thing in the world, but back in the day, that's what I wanted. I loved mac and cheese, spiral mac and cheese to be specific. And I would tell myself, well, I don't have enough time to do it. So I would meal prep it on Sundays, and it would take a long time to meal prep 7 days worth of food.
Sure.
So one morning I woke up and I said, how long does it take me to cook 6 eggs, a box of mac and cheese, and brown this meat? It was like super, super quick, under 10 minutes, way under 10 minutes.
Okay.
So how long does it take you to take a shower and get dressed? Oh, far more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to put your clothes on and get in the car? Probably more than 10 minutes. So I could start the water, get in the shower, get out. All the things I needed to do, I could knock out in under 10 minutes. I could combine all of those and be out the door with meal prep in less than 10 minutes.
And you only have to do the dishes once.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, am I really spending that much time? I'm getting mad about 3 minutes. 3 minutes?
I feel like most of the time, if anybody is like me and most people, I think we probably spend more time stressing out in our heads about the things that we have to get done than it actually takes to get the things done.
Exactly. Like, let's talk about taking the trash out.
Takes, well,
a minute.
We have valet trash, which is...
Doesn't even matter if you have valet trash. If I had to take that trash and walk it all the way out to where I park my car, we're talking 2 minutes max.
Yeah.
2 minutes. That's 120 seconds. How much time do you spend watching Netflix? It's 45-minute episodes. You could run that trash out 100 fucking times before that episode's done. That's unreal to me. So you need to be very serious with yourself and say, what am I actually complaining about? Mm-hmm. And if it's embarrassing to say out loud, don't complain about it anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody in their right mind would say, man, this 30 seconds of my life really sucks, so I'm going to spend 6 hours complaining about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. If it took you 6 hours, I would understand that. My parents live in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky. To take their trash out, they have to put it outside, take the outside trash, put it in the truck, drive down the road. It's like 5 minutes away. Throw it in a bin or unlock the door, go in there, throw it in a bin, relock the door, drive home.
Yeah, it's probably like a 15-minute ordeal after all is said and done.
Oh, depending on how much trash, because my dad will hold on to it for a while, because it is 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's a project.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I would complain about that.
Maybe.
But to take your trash to the end of the street,
yeah,
like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, breathe a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's solid logic.
Well, so we just have to ask ourselves, what are we actually complaining about? Because then you can stay motivated to get it done when you're like, shit, this only takes me 2 minutes. Actually, can I make it a minute? Can I knock some time off of this?
Yeah.
I realize that if I leave the clothes in the dryer for longer, like I restart it and let it run a cycle and a half, they'll be hot when I get them out, and I can fold them quicker with less wrinkles. So I get through laundry quicker by trying to squeeze that time frame, trying to make it a game. So I can do 2 loads of laundry in no time, get it put away, and we're done. And we just, in that time, figured out what movie we want to watch on Netflix. I could have wasted that time, but we didn't. We knocked it out.
Yeah.
That way, we lose motivation a lot of times in the large things in our life, like working out, eating well, spending time with your spouse, big things, career changes, because we spend so much time complaining about the little things. We just get the little things out of the way and understand they're not going anywhere, so don't waste any energy on them.
Yeah.
We don't waste energy that we can use on the big stuff.
And then you have the energy available to use on the things that are truly going to move the needle.
Yeah.
And help you advance your vision.
One thing I realized personally, and I would go ahead and say this stacks up in everybody's life, there's something called a snowball effect. So every decision you make or choose not to make, everything you choose not to do, the dishes, the laundry, making your bed, keeping your house clean, the small daily actions, walking past a piece of trash in your living room, you just choose not to pick up. Those are snowball-sized things that you're carrying around in your brain that need to get done. If you can just go ahead and do all the small things, you're not going to wake up in the morning one morning and go, what the fuck? I can't do all of this. It takes me 4 hours to catch up when it should have taken you 15 seconds 20 times this week. Mm-hmm. So I think the snowball effect is huge. look at the little things around you, ask yourself, could this turn into something bigger? Most of the time it could. Just pick the damn thing up. Just do it. Knock it out, get it out of the way, and go on.
Yeah.
So we talked about me. What keeps you motivated?
I think the biggest game changer for me was really honing in on my time management. I think it's very easy to put other people's priorities first when you don't know your own and haven't planned out your own priorities first. Yeah. So time blocking has been something that I have just gotten more and more and more dialed in on over the years. And I time block just about everything. I time block even on the weekends, on Sundays. Like, we do our meal prep, we grocery shop, we plan the week out. Like, the time blocking on the weekends is arguably more important than time blocking during the week because it sets me up for success in the week. But just laying out, all right, what are my top 3 priorities for this week? And then I go into the week knowing, okay, I've got to make sure that I do that one thing that I said I needed to get done, follow up on that proposal, or send that email, or clean that thing out, clear out my closet, whatever it may be that I'm trying to focus on that week to advance my goals. I know it going into it. That way I can plan a time to do it on my calendar, and I don't have to carry the cognitive load around weighing me down and making me anxious about when am I going to get this done? Well, I already have a time slotted for it on my calendar. And yeah, things change. There's a lot of times where I over schedule myself and then I'm working late or on the weekends because I was overly ambitious with my planning and didn't account for things that pop up during the day that I didn't plan for.
But you're talking about a very small amount of time.
Yeah,
most 52 weeks, that might be 3.
Yeah, it's very few and far between. I think for the most part, I'm very loyal to my calendar. My calendar helps me stay focused on what's most important. And I think that truly has made the biggest difference for me in my motivation. And I use the analogy of, like, somebody invites you to a party. And let's say you do not want to go to this party at all, but you don't have anything else on your calendar, so you feel like you have to go or you have to oblige and say yes. But let's say on your calendar already was visiting your grandma.
Yeah.
Right?
Or alone time.
Well, most people don't put alone time on the calendar, so it's not like an alternative activity, right? That needs to be planned and protected. But a visit to grandma, well, you can't reschedule your visit to grandma for this event that you don't even want to go to, so it's easy to say no.
Yeah, she might not be there tomorrow.
Right. Well, both my grandmas are dead, so this is not a real example. But yeah, she got ran over by a reindeer. 'Tis the season.
Christmas joke.
So if you have those things already on your calendar and you know how your time needs to be allocated, you're far less susceptible to people pleasing or saying yes to things that are not necessarily your priority or help you advance your goals. It's way easier when you already have something on your calendar going on. And it could be, to your point, alone time.
Yeah.
You can literally block your evenings out and say sacred family time.
Wow.
Do not schedule.
Wow.
I don't schedule anything really during the weekdays. Like, if somebody asks me to do something social, it's very rare that I'm going to want to go out on a Thursday night or randomly go out to dinner on a Thursday night. I'm pretty dialed in Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, that's really when I plan my social activities. So if somebody asks me to do something, I have to know what I'm saying no to by saying yes to the thing. Everything is a trade-off.
Yeah. I love that.
So you have to think, like, let's say I say yes to going out to dinner with some friends on a Wednesday night. And Wednesday is usually when we do laundry and meal prep for the second half of the week and, clean the living room or vacuum the floors, right? Okay, so if I say yes to going out on Wednesday night, I'm saying no to doing the things that I know need to get done. Where am I going to fit those in?
So I don't think it's being uber rigid with your time. It's understanding that you're in control of it, and the things you need to get done, you have to decide what you're saying no to. Because like you said, by saying yes, you're saying no to something else.
Well, in a more practical application of this, a lot of times we go visit our family on the weekends. Every Sunday is like, I get the Monday scaries because we get back typically late on a Sunday and we haven't had time to meal prep. We literally have nothing in the fridge. We haven't bought groceries. And I already feel like I'm behind for the week.
Yeah.
Inevitably.
Yeah.
So then I have to have some contingency plans in place, right? And this may sound like I'm just crazy. I recognize that. However, if I know that on Monday I have to think about what I'm going to eat for lunch or I don't have a lunch prepared, that's now more stress that I put on my future self that day while I'm already trying to get through all of my priorities for the workday.
Yeah. So obviously you weren't born with a cell phone in your hand and a calendar app open. How did you start that?
I hired a time management coach.
Really?
Yeah, I spent probably over 10 grand on coaching to get me dialed in on my time management. And it was right before I had went off on my own, started my own business, and I didn't know it at the time, but that was arguably probably the best investment I made in myself, because if I hadn't had that training and dialed myself in to the point where I am now, there's no way I could handle everything that goes into running a business and everything we do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, because it's a lot.
So one of the questions I hear a lot is they'll listen to the podcast and they'll hear how we're talking about time management and taking care of things and focusing on our calendar. And they say, well, how do you stay motivated to do that?
Well, sometimes I'm not. Like, transparently, there's some Sundays where I don't do my planning and I'll feel a little bit behind, but because I've already established the habit of thinking about, okay, what are my big 3 for this week? What are my 3 priorities that absolutely need to get done this week? Otherwise, it's not going to be a successful week. And so I mentally will come up with them. I might not write them down every week, but mentally, I know that I need to go there so I can think big picture, but also get down into the nitty gritty of like, okay, what else needs to get done? What do I need to be thinking about? What do I need to prioritize? And then it helps me navigate as things pop up in the week. Like, okay, is this more important than the thing I said at the beginning of the week was important?
Yeah.
So did that answer the question?
Yeah, you're making calculated decisions based on actual data.
Yeah.
And built it out ahead of time. Framework is important.
And I think some weeks I'm better at it than other weeks, but because I've already gotten into the habit of doing this, because I've been doing it for probably almost 3 years now, maybe 3, more than 3, because I've gotten so used to it, I don't necessarily have to write it down and stick to the rigid process. I now intuitively am doing it, and it becomes ingrained in or integrated into how I operate naturally now.
Well, you have a habit.
Yeah. It's unconscious competence.
Yeah. I love the concept that we can operate on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
When people say, oh, no, that's not real, I always say, do you remember driving here?
There's times where I will just drive to some random location that's not correct because I'm on autopilot.
Yeah.
I've done it so many times.
You have.
Shut up.
But it's normal though. Like we are built to be pattern related creatures.
Yes. Creatures of habit.
Patterns make us feel safe.
They do. They're predictable.
Yeah.
They give us certainty. They relieve anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think traffic has separate lanes that go separate places in separate directions with a median in the middle? It's a pattern.
Yeah.
Pattern-related processes make us feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's why flying cars will never exist, because flying cars create chaos because there's no pattern related to it.
Have you ever driven in a third world country?
I have. It's absolutely bonkers.
It's chaos.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me when people tell me that they don't time block.
Yeah.
Like, how do you function?
Yeah. Absolute, pure chaos.
How do you know where to be when?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times, too, the people that say, why don't time block, are also notoriously late. They use the phrase, well, I have ADHD. And it's like, those aren't things. Those are lack of preparation and personal responsibility.
Yeah, I have ADHD and somehow have managed to
Extremely.
stay focused.
Yeah, you're extremely good at time blocking.
I took an assessment and one of my strengths was focus, and I was like,
That astonishes me.
thank you. Question mark.
Not really. I can see that.
Well, I was shocked and amazed because focus would never be on my list of strengths if I hadn't intentionally worked on that. And so I think if there's anything that we can convey in this conversation is your motivation has to be cultivated intentionally.
You mean you're not just who you are from birth and you can't do anything about it?
No, like Elon Musk wasn't just born this like crazy ambitious entrepreneur.
Yeah, he cultivated it.
He cultivated that because he just kept learning and learning and learning and learning. And the more he learned, the more he wanted to do something about it.
So the question becomes...
And he felt a calling. It was purpose, right?
Yeah.
Elon feels this huge purpose calling him to do the work he's doing.
Yeah.
He believes it's his mission here on Earth to get us to Mars.
So how does somebody start? Like if somebody came into the office today and said, Kylie, I heard your podcast on time blocking and staying motivated. How do I start? What's square one?
Oh, man. Well, I think first is you have to know your vision. So if you don't have your vision mapped out, go back to the vision domain episodes and write out your vision, because we are trying to start with the end in mind. If you don't know what the end is, you can't possibly reverse engineer that and know what habits are going to get you to where you want to go. Now, I will say, we know that health habits need to be a priority for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. If you want to live a long, healthy, happy life, you have to prioritize that.
That's a non-negotiable.
And build habits around it.
That's literally in every single how to stay motivated question on every website I found.
Yep.
Healthy habits, taking care of yourself, exercise, and eating well.
Well,
eating healthy food was on all of them.
Even before all of that, I think it's sleep. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to think clearly. The things you're doing throughout the day are probably not as efficient as they could be if you had a full night's rest.
Well, there's no way they would. What do you say? Being tired is the same thing as being drunk?
Yes. Studies show.
Yeah.
So I would say first, like, prioritize your health, because that's not going away, and it needs to be something that gets automated in the background despite all of the other things you've got going on in your life and the things you're trying to achieve, because it is going to be the one thing that if your health goes sideways, everything else is not going to matter, and health is going to be your only focus.
Dr. Stacy was in here and said, if you have your health, you have a million wishes. If you don't have your health, you have one.
Yep.
And I thought that was the coolest phrase I've ever heard.
Yep.
And it's true. If you don't have your health, you just want to be healthy. How many people work their entire life and get some like chronic disease diagnosis and then nothing matters.
Well, and I will say, I know we're past the health domain, but the average lifespan in America is 77 years old. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but in my head I was thinking, like, with all of the technology and, healthcare that we have today, like, people are living to 100 easy. No. Most people, and because the average is 77, that means a lot of people die before 77, and a lot of people can live past 77, but I guarantee you all the people that live past 77 have had healthy habits intact.
Yeah. You have your anomalies, but like you really don't.
Right.
By the time you get past 77, when you get past the bell curve, there's some serious changes you've made or things you've made decisions on earlier in life that you're seeing the repercussions of.
Yep. So I think if people are going to start today, start with your health, because that's going to be the most impactful to you being able to carry out a vision long term. Beyond that, I would say start mapping out your goals, start mapping out the things that you want to achieve, and go as far out as you can see. So if you can't see beyond next year, that's fine. Just start with next year's goals and map those out. And then I would break it down into, all right, each day is a sliver of the results that you're going to accumulate in that year. So you need to take each day and say, okay, what are the most important things I can do today to advance towards my vision? And those are the habits that you want to... What's the word? Those are the habits you want to implement and establish for the long term, because that's what's going to get you there. It's going to be your driving force. That's how you're going to stay motivated. And then, we could probably talk next on discipline, because that's really like doing it even when you don't want to.
So I think one of the biggest issues with the vision is people will say, well, I can't see myself doing that. That's too profound. That's too big. That's the whole point. If you have a vision that you can't see yourself doing currently right now, you pick the right vision. That's what a vision is. Mm-hmm. You have to, with your daily actions, build the person day by day, action by action, decision by decision, that can handle those kind of outcomes. It's a process, and you're in the middle of it. It's a journey, and you're going somewhere. You're always walking. You're always moving. So time never stops. So either we utilize our time right now and we go towards something we choose to go towards and we move in that direction, or we're being pushed into something we don't want. Mm-hmm. So I totally agree with you. Start with a vision. I think if you can do anything today, take care of your sleep. Sleep's going to help you make a better decision on where to go, a better decision with your daily habits, and it'll help align your emotions. You'll be less emotional, more cognitively available, mm-hmm. and you'll have a happier life. So, like always, when we close here, reach out to us. If you're struggling with vision, you're struggling with goals, you're struggling with motivation, it's literally what we do for a living. I would love to talk to you.
Yeah. Reach out. Use your resources.
Well, we're here to help.
We created this podcast to help people, and if we can hear from you guys and know that either this is helping or no, it's not helping, I need something else, tell us.
Yeah.
We will get you content that you want.
Yeah. I like to hear from the people listening.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Redefining Resilience.
To learn more about building your mental and physical readiness, check out odysseyresilience.org.
And follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok.